Hello and welcome to the Fulhamish YouTube channel. My name is Dom Betts, and on today's video we're looking ahead to Friday's game at Craven Cottage against Leeds United. And joining me is Conor from the One Leeds Fan Channel. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. I wish you lot would go away. To be quite honest with you, we thought you were down and out, but there's been a resurgence, hasn't there?
Yeah, been a massive resurgence since sort of November, December, and especially in recent times, us finally getting the victories as opposed to just putting in the performances. But I mean, the first place to look back is obviously the reverse fixture. What just a batshit crazy mental game of football it was.
Yep. Welcome to Leeds United, Dom. That is pretty much our entire season encapsulated in one game. To be honest, it's quite a sort of mirrored game of so many games we've had this year. And if I'm honest with you, I thought Leeds was it was to and fro really for about 20, 25 minutes. And then Leeds took control. Obviously, I think we went 4-1 up. And then I think Fulham were actually really lucky towards the end not to come out with anything. You know, and Guisa, we were all in awe of. I thought he was absolutely superb. Lookman came on and made a massive difference. And listen, Fulham were unlucky in that game, really unlucky not to come out with something. It was a brilliant game for the neutral, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember I spoke on your channel sort of just for that game, and we were speaking about how it's weird going into a second game of the season saying must win, but I mean it was sort of you with your guys' result against Liverpool at Anfield, you sort of had to back that up with performance at home, and you did that in parts. I mean, when it went 4-1, I was like, is this just going to be repeated a game we played about 2 months ago, straight after the restart? But thankfully we got some goals. Unfortunately, we didn't get a result, but I think what some Fulham fans are comparing that game to this game coming up is that game was when we had no competent defenders in the side, and now we seem to have shored it up at the back. If we can put a similar performance in, that's where a lot of Fulham fans are getting confidence from. Another point, if we're looking sort of ahead to the game before we sort of look at your season so far, is there a reason behind your terrible form in London? Like, is there a reason behind it, or is it simply just a coincidence that you seem to always not be able to pick up a result when you come down to the capital?
Dom, it's 2 minutes in and you've mentioned it. I hoped you wouldn't mention it once, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's. Do you know what, Dom? It's bizarre because, for example, we'll go down to the Midlands and we've got an unbelievable record in the Midlands. It's incredible. You know, anytime we go down there, we seem to get a good result. But the big smoke, I don't know what it is.
As soon as you get below Watford, it's like, nah.
Yeah, it is a mentality thing, though. I've always said it. Me and my guest speaker on my channel, we've said it's a mentality thing. It's been since 2017 now. I think we've won once in London. It was against you, 3-0, I think, when we were terrible.
Yeah, I think it was when Sol Bamba scored, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think Sam Byram. I think you had the likes of, obviously, you saw the likes of Ross McCormack and stuff there. We managed to get a win. We've won once in London in since 2015, and that was the only game. It's bizarre, Dom. And I think even we played you in the Championship, didn't we? And you beat us 2-1 down there with that ghost penalty that should never have been given.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bizarre, mate. It really is. And I do think it's a mentality thing. I think we've had a lot of our existing squad has come with us to the Premier League. And it seems to have, as in what I'm talking about, is this squad's been together for a number of years now. It seems to have been a part of our mindset. So I'll be honest, Dom, the players are definitely aware of it as well. We got promoted last year and Stuart Dallas tweeted out like something like no wins in London, no problem. So they're all very aware of it. So that is definitely something that plays into Fulham's hands because Leeds just can't seem to get rid of that hoodoo. You know, if I'm honest with you, Dom, I thought we're the better team against West Ham, but we still came out without anything. It just does seem to be a bit of a hoodoo/curse down there.
Yeah, and if we look at Leeds' season so far, like I'm hearing different things from different Leeds fans I speak to. You know, I've got a few mates who are Leeds fans, and you know, I know a few people through work who are Leeds fans. But what is your opinion on the season so far? Is it going better than you expected? You know, not even really ever been in a shout of being in a relegation battle, or were you actually hoping that, you know, it's not the quality in the Premier League this season, you know, from the bigger sides hasn't been amazing. I'm talking about the likes of Arsenal, the likes of, you know, Spurs and teams like that. Are you thinking at points that we should have done better, or is it its first season up? Just consolidate our place in the league, and then next season is when we can really push on.
Yeah, to be honest, Dom, I look at it and Fulham's a sort of metric which I've been comparing it to through for a lot of people. Really, I mean, your bench and your team still is miles ahead of Leeds. It's miles ahead. I look at your bench and I think, wow, and obviously you've been in the Premier League, you've been relegated, you've been up, you've been down, sort of yo-yoing sometimes. And I think obviously with parachute payments, been able to make the squad better. And obviously we know you've had sort of egos in the squad that you've had to get rid of, but Fulham have always had that money side of it. And I think that's been a massive benefit to Fulham, and to other clubs like West Brom are another example. Leeds have been solely out of the division for 16 years. We've had no money piled into us or anything. So we've still got the existing players that really, like I was saying earlier, have been with us for 4 or 5 years now. And Bielsa's just improved them and made them better. To just put an understanding on it, Dom, we've had 15 different centre-back partnerships this year. 15. It was the 15th at the weekend. And to do what we've done with the amount of injuries we've had 4 under-23s on the bench pretty much near on every single game. And that's, when you look at the squad depth, that's where you look at a Fulham, where you look at a West Brom even, our relative comparatives really. We can't even compete on a squad value level at this moment in time per player with you guys, especially in wages. So what we're actually doing is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. We shouldn't be anywhere near, in terms of, as I keep saying, squad value, transfer value. For the majority of our squad, we're on par with Sheffield United. That's the level we should be at. We should realistically be at 19th, 20th place. But what Bielsa's done is it's incredible. And I think from now on, obviously, I think we're going to stay in the division now. I think 36 points is definitely enough. But next year, it's going to be a real project. And I think Leeds are going to build and build and build and get stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I think, if you're looking at, I know you can look at Wolves when they finish, was it 7th in their phase, so you look at their squad. I mean, any promoted team that currently stays up has got to be seen as a successful season. And, us staying up is, at the beginning of the season, when we lost to you guys, it looked like a far away possibility for us, but we've really clawed it back now. I know Brighton won at the weekend, but I still think they're there to be caught. Yes, they beat Southampton, but that's Southampton team who's won one game in 12 games. I mean, they're still only 3 points above us, and there's still 9 odd games left of the season to go. So I think we're the three of us still all within a shout of going down. But I think we have yo-yoed in recent years, which, to be honest, isn't something that Fulham fans have been used to for a long time. We had that 13-year stint in the Premier League where a lot of Fulham fans, teenagers or in their early to mid-20s, they grew up with Fulham just being an established Premier League team, finishing where you guys are in the table now, or, sometimes when we pushed into the European places and into the top 10. So I think that's where Fulham fans are sort of aiming to get back to. So if we can stay up, I really think, as you mentioned, when it comes to the money, that if we do stay up, I do think we're in a position where we can really consolidate a place with the money we could end up spending. Obviously, we'd probably have to spend up half our transfer budget signing our loan players. But after that, I can see the owners investing. But on Leeds, an interesting player who's always been spoken about is Patrick Bamford. And when I've spoken to people, he's someone that's always split the Leeds fan base very much. Whether do a lot of Leeds fans appreciate everything he offers, but do you think this season has been the first season really where he started to prove everyone wrong?
Yeah, 100%, Dom. You've probably seen by my Twitter feed, mate. It's a bit of a shrine to Patrick Bamford at the minute. It's I think the biggest indicator with Patrick Bamford, and he probably good for you guys. We've got Bielsa's press conference today and we'll find out, but he sort of went off injured in the last game and Rodrigo went up front, Spain's number 9. Now, we bought Rodrigo for 30 million. He played up front. Bamford came off against Chelsea. He played up front and we looked half the team. The Chelsea defence were able to come out very, very quickly and efficiently into the midfield. You realise Bamford's off the ball work when he's not in the team, which is massive for this Leeds United side because we work better. We're a unit. We're not individual quality. We don't really have that. Obviously, Rafinha being the standout, but we're a unit, and every single player has to work. Now, Bamford's had Eddie Nketiah challenging him, Kemar Roof, Jean-Kevin Augustin. He's had Rodrigo. He's had all these people who have sort of fought with him for that shirt up front. And Bamford's batted them off every single time. And we saw at the weekend, once again, his value to this Leeds side. I think the thing with Bamford is it's his instinctive finishing. When he doesn't have to think about it, he's an expert finisher. He's an elite finisher. when he has time to think about it, that's where the problems occur. That's when it goes over the bar. That's when it goes wide. And maybe that's why with the England squad, it's maybe a season too early, or maybe he's not going to be able to, get in with the likes of the elite finishes we have in there. But overall, Dom, it's been a fabulous season. He got 16 goals for his last season in the Championship. He's already on 13. He's had 2 farcical goals chalked off by VAR against Wolves and Palace, so he should be on 15. But
the Palace one, is that the one with his hands? That and he's about 2 yards onside. Yeah, that. Yeah. Well, when I saw that, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Dommy scored a wonderful one against Wolves as well. He was onside. I think it was his knee hair that was off, and he roofed it into the top of the net. It's a brilliant finish, and you looked across, offside, brilliant. But and he's been excellent this season. Dom, his numbers are through the roof. I think he's had 19 goal contributions as well. Overall, which is, his assists are through the roof as well. So he's having a brilliant season, mate. Top class.
Yeah, even last season, I always hear that when it comes to Bamford, it might sound weird, but you notice him more when he's out the side. So as in you realise what you miss, as you mentioned, when he's in there. If we are looking at Leeds, obviously everyone will look at Bamford and his goal contribution. A lot of people and a big name that you signed in the summer that's on a lot of people's list is Rafinha. Would you say he is your most dangerous player in that respect?
Yeah, he's a freak, Dom. Absolute freak. I don't know how we've got him. He was playing at Rennes in the Champions League. He decided to come to a newly promoted Leeds side. So we've just got to look at Marcelo Bielsa from the pull that he has and sort of attribute his addition to Leeds United to Bielsa, really, in my personal opinion. But he saw the project at Leeds, he saw where we were going, in my personal opinion, and he loved it. And he's the problem. I think the problem, there's 2 sides to it, Dom. He's been amazing for us. I think he's had the same impact as Bruno Fernandes has had in comparison to Manchester United. That's the sort of impact he's had in terms of goal contributions. He's been fantastic. He's an elite player. I think he's one of the top 5 wingers in the division, to be honest. I think he wouldn't look out of place in any side in the world, and you'll see that when you watch him play consistently. He's an excellent ball carrier. He's very quick. His skills he ended Gary Cahill's career at Ellen Road numerous times. I don't know if you saw that piece of trickery, but it was awful for Cahill. But the problem is with him is what we've seen in the past 4 or 5 matches. Leeds haven't been creating as much, and I think a lot of the reasoning behind that is because we're giving the ball to him a lot, and teams are doubling up on him. And obviously, we've seen that with Jack Grealish numerous times for Aston Villa, and he's been able to, share the responsibility with players like Bertrand Traore and Ross Barkley. But Leeds don't have that caliber of player yet to sort of, have that player who's on the same level really as Rafa or anywhere near him. So we're playing through him a lot, and teams are figuring that out. So yes, he's a wonderful player. Does he need help in that regard in producing things? Yeah, 100%. So it's a 2-edged sword, really. He's been brilliant for us, but I do feel at this moment in time that teams are sort of figuring out how to deal with him a little bit.
A lot of people say about Leeds, they're great because they, from a neutral perspective, because of the amounts of goals they score and also the amounts that go the other way as well. But you mentioned about how many different centre-back partnerships Leeds United have had this season. When it comes to that, do you think just as much as I know the way Bielsa plays is gonna be more open at the back, but do you think the way Bielsa playing your defenders at the back just maybe aren't good enough to play that way without for you to be more secure at the back? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the minute we've got Llorente, Pascal Struijk, who's been a real breakthrough this season. He's been fabulous, probably our best defender. We've got Liam Cooper, who's obviously the captain, and Robin Koch. Now, Robin Koch is he's back in training. He was in the squad against Chelsea, but he didn't feature. But he's a brilliant player. Bought him from Freiburg, 13 million. Llorente obviously has come in. He's been injured as well throughout the entire season. We've only really had him back for the past 3 or 4 games. He looks good. Liam Cooper is now injured, our captain. So it's been very inconsistent, Dom. But what a lot of pundits don't take into account is that it's exactly what you've just said. I mean, how can you be sturdy at the back when you've had 15 different centre-back combinations? It's literally impossible in the Premier League, in the best division in world football. And you've seen the ruthlessness, Dom. You make a mistake, teams pounce on it. You know, you guys against City, I thought you were good against City for the first half, made a mistake earlier on, bang, you know, you 1-0 down, and that's what this division's all about. So when you get in players who've never played in the Premier League before coming up to the Premier League, and then you're getting their centre-back partner who they may have been with for 2 games. You know, we had Liam Cooper and Robin Koch establishing a really nice partnership. Koch was then taken out. And we then had to change it around, and it's been a constant carousel of changing the centre back. So it's been a big problem. But as I said at the start, Dom, what a lot of people aren't taking into account with Leeds leaking goals is that as a massive factor. You know, players who've never played in the Premier League before, and players who are constantly having to chop and change with the centre back partner. I think that's a massive factor. What a lot of people aren't taking into account as well is there's been a lot of outliers. You know, Fulham scored 3 against us. Manchester United scored 6 against us. Palace scored 4 against us. Leicester scored 4 against us. But overall, I mean, we've kept, I think it's 9 clean sheets now, Dom. 9 clean sheets. And a lot of people aren't taking that into account either. So, you know, leaky Leeds, yeah, but are we really leaky Leeds? I mean, there's definitely been a few outliers, but when you're keeping 8-9 clean sheets in the Premier League with that many different centre back combinations, I don't really know if you can be classed as leaky. I mean, I think our goal difference is -2, but yeah, we have conceded a lot of goals against the big boys, definitely.
Yeah, and if you mentioned it about watching us against City. So if we look at this Fulham team going ahead to the game on Friday night, what aspects of this team worry you ahead of the game?
Your ball carriers in the midfield. I think in the second half we saw a lot of it with Fulham. Loftus-Cheek is an excellent ball carrier, and Leeds have notoriously struggled in the midfield this year. I think our midfield is where we didn't invest wisely in the summer. I think we had to, and we didn't. We bought Rafinha, which was great, but we wanted a centre midfielder. Mikel Cuisance from Bayern Munich was essentially through the door, and he failed his medical. That was a central midfielder. That's an area where the club have been looking at. And it's because we get hurt in the midfield. We've not got, in my opinion, enough physicality in there, enough athleticism. Calvin Phillips is exposed a lot of the time. And I think against Fulham last time, I think the game's going to go in a similar way. I think it's going to be tight. But Loftus-Cheek, Anguissa, if you went down, Anguissa would be one of my number 1 picks. I think he's an excellent player, a really good ball carrier. And you've got the frightening pace of someone like Ademola Lookman, who Parker's given him a chance, and he's not been given a chance yet, in my personal opinion, in his career, really. And Parker's given him that faith. He wasn't giving him that faith at the start of the season in terms of when you were playing against Leeds. So now he's showing that faith. I'm a little bit worried about him. I think they're the 3 that stand out for me. Bobby Reid always seems to have a good game against us as well. I don't know why, but he seems to have. I think once again, it's because he's a decent ball carrier. But that midfield really is where Fulham, I think, really nearly won the game last time. Anguissa and Loftus-Cheek. So those 2, their athleticism, their physicality through the midfield is a big worry for me.
Yeah, and you know, we saw in Manchester City that it was them pouncing on mistakes by sort of pressing our defenders quite high up. Do you think, I know that's something that Leeds United do anyway, but do you think Bielsa's going to have seen that against Manchester City and really try to deploy that as a heavily used tactic against us to try and make, because I think one thing you want to do when playing Fulham is you want to get the first goal. You know, if you get the first goal against Fulham, you are most likely going to get a result. Whereas we score first, I think under Scott Parker, we've lost once, and that was against Manchester United, and that was it. So when it comes to Fulham, it is always about that first goal. But do you think Bielsa would have seen the way City played, especially in that second half, maybe not so much in the first half, and really try and press Fulham really high up?
Yeah, we have to be ruthless. I think it's going to be, Dom, there is no bones about it. Every Leeds fan knows this is going to be a difficult game. Every single Leeds fan. We know how much Fulham have come on. We saw the game last time. Not much has changed from the Leeds perspective in terms of style of playing. I think we've gone a little bit more direct because I think Bielsa's learned a little bit that we can't always play through the middle. That's definitely been a big change, in my personal opinion, from what we've seen in the past. Well, probably since we played Fulham, really. It's been a big adaptation the past couple of months. So that's going to be really interesting to see if we go a little bit more direct from the centre-backs to Bamford and look at winning the second balls, because I think that's where you can hurt Fulham. We have a lot of energy in our team. You guys know that. And the problem with Fulham last time is they gave us a 20-minute spell. You give Leeds a 20-minute spell, you're in big trouble, because we we can hurt you, you know. But and I know Fulham have definitely changed at the back. I'm really impressed by their sort of structure, and that notoriously is where Leeds struggle to break down really resilient structures, and that's what Fulham have got at this moment in time. And Scott Parker's completely changed you around, which is, you know, from a neutral, it's great to see, because you always want to see young English managers do well, and I think Parker's done that to a real different level. But yeah, it's Dom, it's a game that I'm not looking forward to, I'll be honest. And yeah, it's who knows, mate? But I think it's going to be a difficult one for Leeds, this one.
Yeah, I think this game, especially if you look at the table, is a game that means a lot more to us than it will to you guys. I mean, if we end up getting a victory, it's a huge result for us, and you guys, it's all right. But then you can go next week. Whereas we really need to, after they lost to Manchester City, we really need. This first game we've probably been outclassed in the game in a month or two. Really, I think the Leicester game was probably the last time we were outclassed in a game. So I think we really are looking to bounce back in this game, and that's where I think you guys could pounce, is that the pressure is kind of off you guys. The pressure is more on us to come out and get a result as opposed to it is on you. But obviously there's always pressure when you've got all the Leeds fans wanting to be as high up the table as you can. But for one last question, if I can push you for a score prediction for the game, Connor, what are you going to go with?
Man. Do you know what? It's strange, but I think any point in the Premier League is a good point, and I am going to go with a 2-2. I think we'll score first, but I think you're going to break that hoodoo, and I think you're going to come back, and it's going to be 2-1, and then Leeds are going to equalise with about 10 minutes to go, because we are very, very good in the last 15. It's just the energy and endeavour of our side. So I'll go for a Desmond, Dom. What about you? Are you going to go for one or not?
I've got to be positive, because it is the Fulham channel, so I've got to be positive here. But no, I think it is going to be a close game. Fulham Leeds is never, apart from that 3-0 you spoke of when Southampton scored, it's never really a battering when it comes to the scoreline. But I've got to be positive. I think if we can play like we did against the teams we got the victory, so away to Everton, early on the season away to Leicester, we can put those type of performances and take our chances when we get them. You know, like the win at Anfield. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Fulham victory, just so we can reel in the likes of Brighton and Newcastle. But yeah, as I said, I think 2-1 or 2-2 really is the most likely scoreline.
Would you take a 2-2, Dom?
No, I don't think we're at a point now where you can take results or take points. If we're playing a team in the bottom half of the table, realistically should be looking to win. Arguably our home record isn't great, which is something that I would say you guys can pounce on, but then there's your London record as well. So, but no, I don't think I'd take a point. I mean, it's not the end of the world. But for me, we've got to be going into this game looking for the 3 points, because, you know, after Brighton winning against Southampton, us losing to City, it's really time for us to pile the pressure on. And if we do, we're the first team to play, so it will absolutely get Newcastle and Brighton's bum tingling. Like if it means anything, mate, I think you're 100% going to survive. You're too good to go down. Yeah, and thankfully, I feel like Newcastle have got the tougher running. Plus, we played them last game of the season. So again, all we need to do is be within 3 points of them, because I believe we'll have a better goal difference than them. And you know, that could be a game with fans, which could really bring us over the line. But thanks very much for coming on the Fulhamish channel, Connor. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you on like social media and YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, if you want to see some Fulham build-up as well, come over to the One Leeds Fan Channel. We'll have the build-up to Fulham, and hopefully we'll give you some balance, and there'll be a review up there as well after every single game, and a lot of talking points. So if you want to get it from a Leeds fan's perspective, hopefully not too biased as you've seen from this, just hop over to the One Leeds Fan Channel. And much appreciate being invited on, Dom. I really appreciate it. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'll make sure to leave all the links down in the description below. Make sure to check Connor out. Great stuff on the One Leeds Fan Channel. Brilliant content. Make sure to go over and check out. But this has been the Fulhamish YouTube channel with our preview of Fulham versus Leeds United at Craven Cottage on Friday evening. You Whites.